Hey guys, I hope you had an amazing weekend. Happy Monday. Today I want to talk about developing your arguments a little bit. So you have been working on your claims and finding your evidence, and you might be starting to kind of try to put those ideas together. So I wanted to talk about that a little bit as you're getting to that point. This should be a little bit of review, but your argument is going to have three parts: a claim, evidence, and then reasoning or explanation. So we talked about those a lot when we did our literary analysis, but they're the same for our argument too. So you got to have your opinion, your statement of what you think is true. You've got to have your evidence to support it, and then you've got to have your explanation to explain that evidence and how it proves your claim is true. So I want you to think of your argument as a roller coaster. I've drawn a lovely, very realistic roller coaster here for you. Your goal for your argument is to get your audience from the beginning of the roller coaster to the end, or all the way back to the beginning of your argument. You want them on the ride the whole time. So think of your claim as the seat of the roller coaster. So your claim gets them on board. They know what they're in store for when they sit down on the roller coaster, when they hear your claim. But if you just send off the roller coaster with only a seat, what's going to happen to that rider when they start going down that first big hill? They're going to fly right out of the seat, right? So we can't just send our audience off with a claim. We need some more. So think of your evidence as a seatbelt. It's going to keep your audience on the ride. It's going to keep them with you when things get bumpy. If they don't agree with something, if they're not sure what you mean, if they're not sure why you think something is true, your evidence is going to help keep them on the ride. It's going to help keep them on your argument with you and in the same place as you. But sometimes roller coasters have loops, right? And if you're on a roller coaster and you have a seat and you have a seat belt and you go through a loop, you could slip right out. That's pretty scary. So we need something else. Most roller coasters have like a lap bar or like a harness that comes down from the top, that you can hold on to over your shoulders to kind of help keep you in. So your explanation is like that lap bar or harness. It also helps keep your audience on the ride through all the loops. It secures your audience even more than just the seatbelt. The seatbelt's great. We love the seatbelt, but we also need that lap bar or harness to keep us on the ride. So you're going to want to give your audience an explanation of how your evidence supports your claim so that they can really stay on that argument with you, that they can follow your whole argument from beginning to end. So, like I said, your goal is to get your audience through the ride without losing anyone. You don't want people to fly off your roller coaster. You don't want them to be listening to your argument and be like, wait. That doesn't make any sense. I completely disagree with you. Nothing you just said makes sense. You don't want that. That's what you're trying to avoid. You're trying to get them to stay with you the whole time so that they agree with you or understand your argument by the end. In order to do that, you need all three parts for every single argument you make. That means that each of your support claims needs all three parts. So as you are working on your arguments, thinking through them, you want to think about all three parts for each claim that you make in your argument. Each claim you kind of come up with, you're going to need evidence and explanation for that claim, because that's how you're going to make your argument safe for everybody to get all the way through. That's how you're going to keep your audience with you. Let's look at an example really quickly. I color-coded it. The pink is the claim, the yellow is the evidence, and the blue is the explanation. So I said recess would give students an outlet for energy they may otherwise struggle to contain in class. So that's my seat. My audience is on the roller coaster. Then I need to secure them. I need my seatbelt, my evidence. So I said, okay, according to the Center for Disease Control, the CDC, there is a positive connection between physical activity and academic behaviors. So I've got my seatbelt on. Wonderful. But now I need my lap bar, my harness to keep everything really safe and secure to make my argument really strong. So I said, my explanation here, I said, this means that as students have more physical activity in their day, they are better able to concentrate and learn during class. Adding recess time for middle school students will prevent off-task behaviors and allow students to be more successful. So that argument goes all the way through those 3 parts. My audience is going to know what I'm trying to say because I have all 3 of the parts. They're not going to fly off my roller coaster and lose my argument. Let's look. I want to show you on Google Docs how I'm keeping track of these things and kind of how you can format your Google Doc to help you out. So you've got your research questions, you've got your sources, you've got your claims and support claims, and your evidence. So what I did, if we look at this color-coded, this pink, yellow, blue section, I've got my support claim, new technologies have always changed the ways people think. And then I have my evidence in yellow here. And then I went ahead and made another bullet point and started some explanation underneath that evidence. This is what I would like you to try in your Google Doc, is to organize your ideas like this. That way, no matter what format you decide to put your argument in, you know that you have all 3 parts of each of those arguments. I think originally I told you I was going to look for a rough draft by Friday. I don't want a rough draft by Friday anymore. I want a document that has all of your support claims with evidence and explanation like this is formatted right here. That's where I think we can reasonably get by Friday. And then after spring break, we will worry about putting our argument into a specific format. But this is where I want us to be. So for each support claim, you need at least 1 piece of evidence and some explanation. You might have more pieces of evidence. That's great. You'll just need more explanation for those as well. Okay, so today on Canvas, there's a discussion board where I want you to put 1 argument, so 1 claim, evidence, reasoning, probably a support claim, evidence, and reasoning in that discussion board, and then comment meaningfully on 2 other students. That meaningful comment could be a compliment, it could be a critique, something that's missing from their argument. Maybe they don't have any evidence, so you flew off their roller coaster, and you want to let them know that if that's the case. It could also be a counter argument. If you have a differing opinion or some different evidence than what they have to support another idea, you can start that conversation with them and kind of, poke at their argument a little bit. Obviously, always be kind and courteous in our discussion boards and anytime, because we don't want to offend anyone. Just because we are arguing does not mean we have to be mean. We can respectfully argue with people. That is part of what you guys said you wanted to learn how to do, so let's work on that. Writing is one great way to do that because you have time to kind of think it through before you talk, whereas when you're talking, sometimes things come quickly. All right. If you have any questions, let me know. I will be available for video conferences and emails and things like that. Please let me know if you need anything. All right. Thanks, guys.